Welcome to Ingram Micro's Fit on Demand series presentation of IBM Cisco Versus Stack solution. My name is Scott Figgins. I'm the field technical consultant for IBM Storage. Today we're going to talk about the SVC and the Storage V7000, which are the foundations in building a better storage infrastructure. The next generation Storewise engines really provide greater power to maximize the software value, increase scalability to meet your data agenda, and the best of breed software ease of use. Enhanced software capabilities, efficiency, Easy Tier 3 enables new options for optimized data tiering of your storage. The Active Cloud Engine, which is the global file, distributed file sharing, and optimized file management tools. And under ease of use, we've got simplified performance management with storage pool balancing, automated storage pool balancing, management efficiency with departmental multi-tenancy. So we can divide this up and have the same features across multiple departments within a single infrastructure. And dependability with compression and a performance guarantee. We really have an efficient, easy, and dependable product here with the Storewise family. So what's new with the new engine of the Storewise software value? Essentially, we've got half-price data storage and 50% rack space savings. We have additional superior performance with the real-time compression than traditionally configured storage systems. And it maximizes the compression benefits by being able to keep your active data compressed. And if you do have some workloads that are not friendly to compression, you can have a mixed and matched environment that is still optimized for performance based upon the tiering management. On the ease of use side, we've got the real-time compression that operates immediately. It's an inline, it's not a post-processing. It's easy to manage. And combining that real-time compression with the IP replication and Active Cloud Engine, it's really a set it and forget it type of environment. We do have non-disruptive NAS migration features, simplifies transition from legacy filers over to the V7000. Clustered installed Storewise V7000s and new systems for a simplified single system management layer. It's dependable power to deliver efficient workloads with new Intel hardware compression assist technology with over 3,000 real-time compression deployments, virtualize existing storage and experience with Storewise V7000 benefits, and now NFS version 4 with SMB 2.1. Multi-tenancy support enable more file and block consolidation. So we really have efficiency without compromise. So what's new? A new engine to maximize the software storage value. Double your data storage on your current or future infrastructure. IBM's real-time compression really maximizes your compression benefits. It can be used with your active primary data. It doesn't have to be your offline or your non-production workloads. We're seeing really a 70 to 80% reduction for database workloads using real-time compression with like Oracle or Exchange and SQL. We allow you to have the efficiency with additional features for solid-state drives. And under the easy-to-use column, we're going to talk about real-time compression operating immediately and not having to be something that is a post-process that makes it easier to manage. No need to schedule periods to run that post-process compression. And with real-time compression and easy tier and IP replication and the data virtualization, really it is a set it and forget it type of environment. We have user serviceable canisters and redundancy at every layer. So simply replacing hardware just becomes, pulling out the one module and putting in a new module. We have even more dependability with even greater performance through the doubling of our previous hardware offering and power to deliver efficiency with up to 2 new Intel hardware compression accelerators per storage controller enclosure. And of course, we've always been able to virtualize existing storage and provide a better user experience through the efficiency benefits of the Storewise product line. So really, we're going to just kind of try to drill down on each of these 3 peers: efficiency, easy, and dependable, really driving half-price storage under the efficiency side of it, showing at least a 50% cost savings over a traditional storage environment. And easy is the IT optimized 40% less resources to manage the same or even greater storage environment. And with a 24/7 by 7 delivery mechanism, we're really exceeding the 5 nines of reliability on the storage side. So taking a little bit of a deeper dive into each one of these, with the efficient side, we're going to be able to store less data and improve what you have. And we can even include flash systems as well as SSDs to provide optimized storage environment. Under the ease category, we're going to say we can set it and forget it. It does have award-winning simplicity, that award-winning graphical user interface, and you can start small and grow it as big as you want. And under the dependability characteristics, we're going to show you that you have embedded analytics that allow you to determine when things are going to have a problem and do preventative maintenance rather than waiting for an outage to occur. It's got proven reliability and enterprise capability. So the data economics of what we have here to deal with is the efficiency conundrum. We really have a lot more raw data than we used to have, as well as you see on the curve here that as we're trying to get down to the data size, it's pretty much a compelling message here. We're going to be able to do 30% loss of RAID because we have less RAID spares, 30% less LUN sizes performance, and 15% unused LUN, zero access, and then of course 40% of loss utilization on the data size side. So it's basically store more with what's on the floor. With the virtualization, automatic tiering, and thin provisioning, those are all features that are going to help you get the efficiency conundrum solved. You can see once we do that, then basically those allocated and active in sizes go up, and I'm actually getting more utilization out of my storage on the floor. I'm going to put the data in the right place. I'm going to use the Active Cloud Engine to move things around, as well as easy tiering to automate the promotion of hot data into a higher tier of storage. And I'm going to stop storing so much because I'm going to be able to take things out of the path by doing deduplication and also compression. So you can see our curve is much better once we have all these things in place and we leverage the software-defined storage architecture. So the IBM Storewise family delivers simple efficiency with the things like thin provisioning, which recycles recycle your waste, purchase only the storage you need when you need it, real-time compression, so I'm able to reduce the amount of storage that I have to have on the floor and still store the same amount of data. And then I'm going to be able to do flash optimized with easy tiering, and that's going to allow me to bring a smaller amount of flash into my environment, and it will meet or exceed the business service levels. And with Active Cloud Engine, I'm going to be able to take all of those features and do a right placement of the data where it needs to be. And then that then enhances your admin's productivity because I'm doing automated file placement. So the infrastructure that matters at half the price, that's really where we're trying to drive here, is that the real-time compression piece allows us to have active data, your production data, unlike other storage environments where they don't recommend compression on active data. We figure that you have data there and we don't necessarily know which one is going to be active. So if we can make the real-time compression be in line and actually add superior performance over the traditionally configured system, then it's basically a simple efficiency of setting it and forgetting it. And you choose the data growth path, which one do you want? We can start out with a generic volume, a compressed volume, a thin provisioned volume, or a thin mirrored volume. So Storewise family delivers the data to prove that it's a half-price data storage environment. With the IBM's, the first of storage vendors to use the compression assistant agent from Intel's Quick Assist technology, and you can see from the charts here that I'm getting over 55% compression, and that's a traditional savings you can see in dollars and cents right there. With the software, selling the value of the software-defined storage, using real-time compression's value proposition allows me to save up to 54% of my costs to win against the competition. And I'm going to stop dependency on deep special bids that give away your margin and drive the market prices down and cause erosion. So there's a little quip here from a U.S. energy company that said in their tests at the end, they found that the Storewise V7000 to be 25% faster than even the new VNX2 EMC product. And test shows that the Storewise with real-time compression performs faster than the previous Storewise without real-time compression. So you can see here that they improved the performance over the first generation with the second generation, and added in that Intel Quick Assist part that allows for the real-time compression to be offloaded to those special purpose processors in the storage environment. So here we have a simple listing of types of files that we're going to show here what the different files. Obviously, not all files are going to be happy to be compressed. Things like JPEGs and other files that are already at a certain compressed ratio, they're not going to compress as well as other files do. But you can see if I have a large database environment with 80% compression, then I'm actually getting well above the 55%. So IBM in their data analytics part of it have shown that on an average we can get about 55% compression. And that certainly is up for, I have a few slides down the road here that will actually get into more of the IBM guarantee that they will give you as long as we go through the right process to get that guarantee. So once again, we're talking about Active Cloud Engine, simple policy-based efficiency, set it and forget it. It allows me to place files where they belong. I can scan billions of files in minutes. It's a high-performance environment. I get to reduce costs on cost-optimized storage based on business SLAs, controlling storage growth by moving older files off to tape or deleting them after a certain period of time. You know, different regulations require that we have to keep certain data for certain times, and as long as I know what those files are or the file types are, I can build a policy around making sure that I'm in compliance with any kind of regulatory rules that are out there. And of course, because I'm doing this all with the policy, it's not someone having to manually intervention. I'm getting enhanced administration productivity. So you can see at the bottom here that I can move things from the easy tier, using easy tier, between solid state disk and SAS drives. But then after a period of time, then I really needed to go off to nearline SAS, and maybe after 60 days, it gets written out to tape. And then after 180 days, I blow it up and get rid of it. So that's all through the Active Cloud Engine process that is part of the Storewise V7000 family. Storage virtualization is a real big feature of the Storewise product line. It removes the host from the actual physical storage arrays and allows me to provide additional functionality on the back end that older storage products from different vendors may not have had, as well as easy migration between old arrays to new systems. So I can combine the capacity from multiple arrays into a single pool of storage and provide that central point of management from one area. I can apply common services across the entire storage pool, and I can make changes to the storage without disrupting any host activity. So literally, the hosts will never know when their data is being moved from one storage array to another. So that way we can make changes during business and we don't have to spend our weekends in data centers across the years. So the Storewise family, ease of use, family delivers it. We have a simple graphical user interface. A study that we did provides a 47% less time consuming and 31% less complex environment than managing a similarly equipped EMC VNX using their Unisphere software. Another unified integration is another feature of this that allows me to have the block and file data combined with the shares that are being able to do CIFS and NFS and FTP. And with that, the built-in Tivoli Storage Manager client simplifies backing up those shares as NDMP, so you can use your third-party backup software to make backups of the storage environment. So here's where we're going to tie in some information about VMware. We've got the virtual storage center and the hypervisor for storage, and it is it's how we have the central location to control all of our different vendors' pools, data centers pulled together, and everything is accessed from anywhere. Standardized storage services, so from a flash copy and a replication standpoint, the mobility of the storage volumes, being able to move one on the fly based on workload balancing priorities, policies, and central management, of course, optimizing it for a single day-to-day operation from a single pane of glass. And we also have the chargeback and pay per use of the storage resources, so we're keeping track of who uses what, and when it comes time for budgeting, you can use that information to go back and do chargebacks. So you have a scalable environment here. From a data resiliency perspective, we do high availability configuration, so we have no single points of failure, so we have continuous data availability. I can replace any components in the box without ever having to take the system completely offline. I have built-in data replication, so if I have a remote site that I need to have a secondary copy of my data, I can, within the product, be able to set up that remote replication and have a subset of my data replicated. I don't have to replicate the entire environment. I have application-aware copy, so literally with some additional software there that comes with it, it allows me to tie into DB2 or SQL or Microsoft Exchange or Oracle and notify those applications that I'm going to do a snapshot, and it allows me to take pretty much eliminate application downtime for backups because I can make those snapshots without having to take the environment offline. And I can even do some things like practicing my disaster recovery techniques before I actually need them, so that I can use that as a training methodology and validate the business continuity plans without disrupting my production applications. So the Storewise family also delivers a disaster recovery over a low-cost network bandwidth. I don't require, because I have built-in IP replication with acceleration, I don't require a separate router or separate protocol converter, and that really saves us additional money in the back end because that's additional hardware and network complexity that the Storewise product doesn't have to have. It utilizes just an Ethernet connection for the remote mirroring, and because of the accelerated replication, I can get up to 3 times faster than just standard IP replication alone, and I can improve my remote data concurrency and keep it at a faster replication side because of the acceleration piece. And I get improved network utilization. There's nothing worse than buying a lot of bandwidth only to find out that you're using just a very thin part of it. So I can reduce my infrastructure costs by not having to have that very expensive data pipe between my 2 remote sites. And making data movement to the cloud accessible, essentially the software that comes with there allows me to have on-site as well as cloud-enabled backups of my data. And an example here is comparing the Storewise products to a Riverbed or Silver Peak products. So we have a wide variety of ISV integration. The enablement here actually ties us in with all of these partners: VMware, Oracle, Microsoft, Symantec, and SAP. It allows us to have continuous and reliable access to this information. Those targeted environments are really the database and performance optimization with backup and restore, and high availability with disaster recovery. And it really plays in with the server virtualization to allow you to manage some of your software server storage operations from within VMware itself. And of course, operations management. So here's just an example of how a IBM storage system technology gave the ability to meet an end user's storage needs efficiently and supporting a 24/7 availability with the 5 nines of availability. So that's really mainframe class hardware redundancy that allows the system to be alive, with less than 5 minutes of downtime in a year. The storage family is ideal for any organization's disaster recovery plan because data is mirrored between production and disaster recovery sites. It's almost real time. There's been over 55,000 systems purchased with 130,000 of total enclosures deployed, which is about 1.6 exabytes of capacity. So this is an array, a storage array that has been around for a while and absolutely has the reliability that is required for enterprise data. And with the Active Cloud Engine, it does give me a globally scalable file system. So essentially I can have a single data center at one location and have multiple copies of multiple sites to participate in the fast information exchange while still owning their own data. So it's a focus on infrastructure that matters from local, scalable, multiple copies, all the way out to global, right data at the right place at the right time. So infrastructure that matters is kind of a key terminology here to address data economics. So with the StorageWise, I get half-price data storage, IT optimized by having 40% less resources, and I have the 24/7 with my 5 nines of availability. Let's go a little bit deeper into what is the StorageWise V7000 Gen 2. Well, it came out and has 2 times the performance of our previous model. The compressed performance really is comparable or better than the previous model's uncompressed performance. I have some new server connectivity options with a 16 gig fiber channel and up to 8 times more cache, 32 gig or 64 gig per controller, 64 or 128 gig per enclosure. And as I said before, we have the industry's first hardware compression acceleration using the Intel Quick Assist technology. One is built onto the V7000 Gen 2 with the option of being able to add a second one for additional throughput capabilities. Cache upgrades are also available when you're using the second compression accelerator because it needs to have the additional memory there to be able to handle the additional workload. And with the V7000 Gen 2, we actually doubled our scalability, so we're able to now go up to 20 expansion enclosures per control enclosure, which allows us to have a lot more drives, up to 1,056 small form factor drives or 960 large form factor drives per clustered drive system. And we also are using SAS 3.0, which adds 12 gigabytes of capacity on the back end to the expansion enclosures, giving us twice the amount of bandwidth that our competitors have. So here's just a picture of what a V7000 Gen 2 control enclosure looks like. And in the previous generation, we had 2 types of control enclosures, one that was a large form factor and one that was small form factor. When they came to the Gen 2, they decided to do away with the large form factor unit because they really didn't sell that many, and the size of the drives were really going up and up as the generations of technology for drives came along, that they felt like that they could start out with a control enclosure that has the 2.5-inch drives only, and then if you do have to have the larger form factor drives, we're just going to put those in expansion cabinets. So you get one standard and optional second compression accelerator, and you have the technician IP port that replaces the USB key configuration that the previous generation used. And you can see I've upped my ports. I now have more fiber channel ports and more 10 gig ports and the same number of 1 gig iSCSI ports. So I also have, here's a picture of the expansion enclosures. We have these available in the 2 models, the 2.5 and the 3.5 inch. They attach the new attaches to the new control enclosures, and I can mix and match drives within the enclosures, including different drive speeds, because the way that the drives are actually ported, it's talking to them individually within the expansion chassis. I can also mix enclosures, so I can have some 3.5 and 2.5 all within the same system. And as I said, all drives are dual ported and hot swappable, so if I lose a path of one of my SAS connections, I have redundant paths that makes it more robust and more reliable. So as you can see here, I can expand up to 20 expansion enclosures per control enclosure, and it enables the fully populated large form factor system to have up to 4 petabytes of raw capacity. And this exceeds most of the needs of all the mid-range to entry enterprise customers. And previous expansion enclosures and drives, though, cannot be attached to this new control enclosure, but I can protect my investment and migrate my data by mixing the old version 1 of the V7000 with clustered in with a new V7000, and they can work together and without being degraded by the older generation. So it really gives me some investment protection here. I can build systems with the new V7000 file modules and be able to do the SVC, and new Storewise V7000s can utilize existing Storewise V7000 or any other disks as a externally virtualized environment. So I do have the capability of being able to pull those older systems just like I do for other manufacturers behind the new system, and do it all migration-wise with no downtime at all to the customers. And no other competitive system can really claim that non-disruptive file move. They always have to take the volumes offline to move. So now we've got the power to match here. We've got the Storewise V7000 uncompressed, and on the left in orange, and on the right is compressed. So you can see on the IOs per second, I'm able to get considerable more with a compressed volume using a database-like data files. And basically I can show you that I can have 150 terabytes of usable capacity for 50% less. And the comparison right there shows that I have to have 6 expansion enclosures on the traditional configuration, whereas I only have to have 2 on the new version, Gen 2. Same thing with the Easy Tier. Anything that is licensed, software that's licensed by the tray, if I can reduce the number of trays I have, it really adds to the overall value proposition of saving the end users money and providing the same, if not better, efficiency with the new technology. So another thing is just how much power, worst case, 100% read-miss comparison. Even if we're dealing with a very randomized workload here, you can still see how I'm able to get or maintain at least similar compression with the compression ratios. So here's just some statistics on a 1 control enclosure, V7000 Gen 1 versus a V7000 Gen 2, and also showing the compressed versus uncompressed. So you can see the compressed performance shows a range depending on different I/O distribution, and compressed performance is better than uncompressed in some cases, because of fewer I/Os to the drives means I can have additional cache benefits. So the new Storewise V7000 power and scalability for all your data. So I have 2 times the scalability, up to 4 petabytes. I have more performance with up to 64 cores. I have 2 times the infrastructure speed because we went to that SAS 3.0 12 gig backplane. And I have additional connectivity, so I can have up to 64 fiber channel ports. And I have really 8 times the cache for up to 512 gig of cache per clustered V7000 Gen 2. So you can see the Generation 2 really was a large boost over the previous generation. And once again, I can deploy with confidence because there's over 55,000 of these Storewise family systems worldwide, with over 130,000 enclosures and petabytes, exabytes of capacity. The new SVC and the Storewise V7000s can cluster with existing systems, so you really have unmatched investment protection, and you get the enhancement of the new compression performance with the existing data, and once again, I can migrate data with no disruption. And there's IBM availability, performance guarantees, and compression guarantees that we can run through here. I'm not going to go through the bullet items, but I certainly want to make sure you know that IBM does stand behind what they say, and as long as we follow the rules, you will be able to get your client a guarantee that if they do not get the same compression ratio that has been predicted, then IBM will make it right. And there's another follow-on slide. Guarantee does not cover some workloads, and certainly that is all just based upon making sure that we have guidelines that are within the realm. And on this slide, we basically have some additional terms and conditions for the Storwize V7000 SVC compression guarantee. I'm not going to read through them all. You can check them out. And the guarantee administration is handled through IBM. You have to do a registration. You have to provide some additional disk magic reports so that they know what the expected workloads are. And you just fill it out, and you should get a response back within 72 hours. And then if you have to make a claim, there's some rules here, how you do the claim, some additional information there. And now we're going to talk a little bit about Easy Tier 3, the latest version of Easy Tier, which supports 3 tiers of disk. I can have solid state drives or flash arrays at the top of my tiers, and then SAS drives in the middle, and nearline or SATA drives or externally virtualized storage as a 3rd tier. What this does is it allows me to deploy my flash and enterprise disk in the same array for performance and grow my capacity with low-cost disk that'll automatically move my cold data from the higher tiers of storage down to the lower tiers. And the Storwize V7000 does all this transparently between the different tiers. The end users don't ever have to deal with that at all. And it's all available on all systems licensed for Easy Tier. There's no additional charge. So there's the Easy Tier 3 stat tool, which is going to take a recommendation of what's going on the V7000 and give us a heat map distribution showing that if we had certain types of drives in our different tiers, we would get the maximum amount of performance. So you can take a look at this report, and it will show you that if you're running low on solid state drives because you have more hot data than you have room for, it will make recommendations how much to add so that you can add just as what's needed and not overbuy the solid state, which is the more expensive storage to have to procure. And as I said, we have automated storage pool balancing, so as I add additional expansion enclosures and bring those volumes and storage into my storage pools, the system automatically retunes and rebalances across all of the storage that's available, and it does that all automatically without any user intervention. And once again, because of it, it's basically no additional charge for this feature. So we have a different simplified storage licensing structure. We have just 2 options, basically a la carte option on top of the base, as well as a full-featured bundle on top of the base. The rule of thumb here is that if I'm going to purchase any 2 of the advanced functions, then I probably should just take a look at the full bundle, because that's where the rate of return is essentially 2 of the licensed features. They bundle the full bundle and give you a significant discount on it to entice you to have all the features and functions. And once you have those, there's no capping and no complexity. It's just required for all enclosures that are a part of the system. So from a licensing software, we really only have 3 PIDs to deal with. We have the controller base license, and then either the mandatory full bundle or the a la carte feature. And we have the external data virtualization licenses. So those are our 3 program IDs. So the Storwize V7000 Unified File Module software is version 1.5, now supports NFS version 4 and some of the later SMB 2.1 protocols. It also has department-level multi-tenancy capabilities and enhanced global collaboration using a multi-writer capability that comes as part of the Active Cloud engine. And they remove the requirement for SFU for when using remote replication or global active engine. SFU is services for Unix, so that's why it's built into the product. NFS version 4 gives us access to control lists and Kerberos support, providing improved levels of security. I have more caching enhances the performance of the environment. Extended locking means that now, because of the multi-tenancy, I can prevent orphaned locks. And I have share reservations, which provide better Windows compatibility in the SMB space. So with SMB 2.1, it was introduced to enable faster communication between systems running Windows Vista and Windows Server 2008. The SMB 2.1 brings important performance enhancements to the protocol in the Windows Server side, version 2008 R2 and Windows 7. I also have a larger MTU support, so now I can use the jumbo frames. So it gives me better efficient use of my 10 gig network bandwidth. So tasks such as copying large files are dramatically improved because I can send larger packets across the network. And access control list means that I have improvements in security, so I can keep 100% Windows access control list compatibility for my CIFS only shares. And the departmental multi-tenancy allows multiple administrators to provision file sets to the different department administrators. So providing first implementation of multiple tenancy capabilities. It provides security boundaries at a granular file set level. And department administrators are the owners of their file sets and exports associated with those departments. So they can create containers or directories for users. They can set NFS version 4 access control lists on those containers or directories to make a user or group the owners of their respective containers. And you can support multiple sub-departments which can be mapped to a department group at an authentication server level. The multi-writer capability for the Active Cloud Engine says that now I can have up to 10 Storwize V7000 unified systems to operate together with a single set of files. It enables local caching of files for better performance, and it also consolidates files centrally for simplified backup and management. The multi-writer capability enables users at multiple sites to access the files in the same file set, so that it significantly improves collaboration, but it also protects the data integrity by locking access while a file is open by another user, even if it's at another location. So here's just a sample of which Storwize product fits into your environment based upon what your requirements are. The V3700, the V5000, the V7000, or the SVC may be where you are able to pick based upon your requirements what you would want. And here's just a chart that has some V7000 hardware versus our competition. Some of the more common HP, 3PAR, and Storwize V7000 Gen 2, the NetApp, and the EMC products. So really you can see the NetApp here. The bolder blues are where we exceed in a significant level over the Gen 1 of the V7000. It did better, but now Gen 2 is even better. So here are some key feature breakouts of those same EMC, HP, and NetApp storage devices against the IBM Storwize. So you can see we have a lot more features on our side than we do than the 3PAR and NetApp and Clarions do. And here's another chart showing the Storwize versus the competition's key features. And as you can see from the features that are on the right-hand side here for the Storwize, we certainly have more features than a lot of the other competitive products. Key storage innovations, essentially these are things that led to the actual using the intellectual property investments that IBM made from purchasing other products. So you've got internal virtualization, external virtualization, advanced clustering, thin provisioning tiering, compression, and a unified interface where as an Active Cloud Engine where you can see we have a lot of features that the other products don't have. Some additional versus competitive key features. You can see there we just basically the clustering capabilities as well as scalability and virtualization features that really are far superior than the competition. So it really boils back down to infrastructure that matters to address data economics. We still have our efficiency at our half-price storage, ease with our 40% less resources, and our dependability with the 5 nines of availability. Ingram Micro is proud to be an IBM authorized global training provider, offering the full portfolio of IBM software and systems courses. And for more information, visit ingrammicro.com/training.